welcome to Arts News, friends. I'm Jimmy Ray, your host here every Friday morning at 10 a.m. to talk about the arts world of the Ozarks. We have a New York Times best-selling author on the program talking about his new horror novel. Also, Art of the Ozarks Expo, The Messiah Project, and Ozarks Lyric Opera. Does Puccini, that and so much more. Let's go. Support for Arts News today is provided by Dressler Peters Business Law Firm, committed to promoting music and the arts in the Ozarks by supporting local public radio, including KSMU's weekly arts newsletter, The Green Room. Information at DresslerPeters.com. And support is also provided by Pickwick Underground Framing, offering custom picture framing and installation. Open weekdays 10 to 5:30 and Saturdays by appointment at 611 South Pickwick Avenue. Information at PickwickUndergroundFraming.com. I'm Jimmy Ray. Welcome to Arts News, and the Ozarks Lyric Opera is back and opening up the first opera of the season. There was another event beforehand, but this is the real rollout here when it comes to opera. The Ozarks Lyric Opera is hosting Puccini's La Bohème, and you might have the hillbilly coming out of me here with that pronunciation or any other Italian that comes up, but here to help me through that from the Ozarks Lyric Opera, Sean Spires, and one of the featured guests who is going to be conducting the orchestra with the Ozarks Lyric Opera this time around, Foster Byers. Gentlemen, welcome.
Thanks so much for having us.
Thanks, Jimmy, and that was a pretty dang good pronunciation for a hillbilly, yeah.
That's good, that's good. I've been working on it. I had to have a little bit of help from my colleague here, Liz. She heard me say it one time over the air, and it wasn't quite right, so she got me to dial it in. But so when we talk about this opera here in particular, Sean, I mean, this is about as quintessential as it gets.
Yeah, it's one of the ABCs of opera. It's a top three. I mean, even if you look back at the history of our company, we started in 1979. It was our very first opera. I mean, it was, it's a romantic opera at its finest. It's Puccini. It's big, it's beautiful, it's dramatic, it's everything you want opera to be, and a big cast, incredible voices, that you have to be able to do this. So yeah, this is actually the Ozarks Lyric Opera's sixth production since 1979. So 47 years we've done it 6 times.
Wow.
And, so yeah, big history there.
Yeah. You say romantic opera. Is that a genre thing, or is that material-wise? Is that just a way to describe it? What makes are all operas romantic, or is that like a category?
Not necessarily. I mean, and we could get a little nerd out here on
That's what we're here to do.
Romantic is and what classical is.
I mean, for me, romantic is I bring home some onion rings and we watch a movie with the wife. So I assume it's not quite that.
Well, no, it is. I mean, it is. I would say it's a romantic opera in that sense. I don't know, Foster. Do you have anything to say as far as how you would classify this further? I mean, in my mind, it is romantic.
It's the most iconic opera maybe ever. People who don't know anything about opera will have heard some part of this opera. I was just watching Deep Impact on Netflix, and there's a scene where they're playing music from La Bohème. It's just sort of one of those things. It's all around us. And honestly, if somebody asked me what is the opera I should see, first, if I've never seen an opera, I would say La Boheme every time.
Yeah. And this is coming to the Gilloys, the home of the Ozarks Lyric Opera. Opening tonight?
Yes, 7:30 p.m.
Yeah, and then you guys take a day off and then hit with the matinee on Sunday on the 23rd.
Yes, at 2:30 p.m., correct.
Do you guys take a break in between there to let people rest their voices and stuff? Is that why that happens?
Absolutely. It's a grind to get through. I mean, this is 4 acts. To be fair, though, I mean, that sounds a little intimidating, but this music just flies. And some operas take a little bit of time to get going. This one is right out of the gates. It's fantastic. It's thrilling. It's just, I mean, the music just, it just wraps you up and just whisks you away to another place. And
wow.
So yeah, but 4 acts and a lot of high notes. You have got to get some rest, and so I decided that hey, we used to do a Friday and Saturday night show, but you can get some wear and tear. That's a lot to ask of your singer. So absolutely, yeah, it's for our singers.
So when was this piece originally brought to the world?
1895. It was premiered.
Wow.
Yeah.
And when we say Puccini, does he write the lyrics, the melodies, all of the music? What's the involvement when you say it's his?
That's a great question because Puccini, even from his very first opera, was an incredible composer of melody and beautiful, engaging music. But honestly, his first few operas, he had different person who wrote the words, the librettist, we call it. And this is his first opera with a pair of librettists who he wrote all his most successful operas with. And boy, that pairing it's a really powerful thing. And they worked to really reduce everything to the bare minimum, most effective moments. So Puccini was constantly asking them to do less, take this out, cut this scene. There was a whole other act that those librettists wrote that he wanted to cut because he wanted to get straight to the action. And that's why this opera is hour and 45 minutes. The main couple that meet in the first act, they're literally madly in love 10 minutes after they meet. But it's totally believable. It's incredible.
Well, I'm going to remind my listeners we're talking with Sean Spires from the Ozarks Lyric Opera and Foster Byers, who's going to be the guest conductor opening tonight and a matinee on Sunday. I wanted to ask, this particular story, is it the kind of thing where you do the story note for note, scene for scene, character for character, everything is to a T, or is there things that you can reimagine? Is there things that you can mold on your own? It's blasphemous to do stuff like that.
No, I think you can absolutely. I mean, this is an opera that has been updated, and our version is updated.
You guys updated?
Yes, we did. Yeah,
okay.
So it's going to be modern day Paris, basically.
Oh,
and,
okay.
I mean, the heart of the story is still there. I mean, it's about these young kids just trying to make it. They want to create art. They want to write. They want poetry. They want art, and they're struggling. Starving artists, literally, and it's just all revolves around them. And so the heart of the story is there. And again, the music, especially with Puccini, just speaks for itself. I mean, you could set it in almost any time, I think, and it's like you're gonna believe it because it's just there. It's passionate and. That's it, that's what we're saying, romantic opera reimagined.
Whenever you guys begin to make these adjustments, so I mean, you're contemporizing this thing. Is this something one person does, a team of people do? When you decide we're going to do it and we're going to put these twists on it, how are those decisions made exactly? I mean, because that seems pretty hefty ask. Who makes those calls?
That would be our stage director, Matt Haney.
Okay.
And he's from this area. I grew up in Mansfield and he grew up in Seymour, so we were side by side. And so now he's out doing opera, and, I've been running this company. Of course, my brother is all over the world singing opera. And so it's kind of neat for the three of us to kind of come back together. I'm like, Matt, what do you want to do with this? And he was like, once he got into the Gilloys Theater and he saw that bareback wall at auditions, he was like, oh yeah, I know what I want to do. This is, we must see that. We must see that wall. And I'm going to use lights. I'm going to do this, and it's going to be modern, and it's going to be. And so then he talked with a costumer. So he gave her some inspiration for like what he wanted to see, as far as costumes, and then talking to our set designer about this set piece that was not really a set piece. It's like a sign that is up there that is the heart of the opera that comes out of the famous duet. And so, yeah, it's a collaborative effort, absolutely, on every part.
Excellent. That must be a lot of fun for him to be able to come in and really take the bull by the horns and make it his own, especially with such an old piece. And Foster, what about musically? Is it something that's very, very strict, or is it something that you get to make some calls on as well?
That's an interesting question. I mean, of course, the black and white dots on the page are there, right? And we all have to follow those. But like we were just talking about recordings as we were waiting out in the lobby, and there's so many different ways to approach this piece. And then each singer brings their own ideas and also that match their voice. And you know, you'll never hear La Bohème performed exactly like this anywhere else, because it's those individual musical personalities that you're hearing within the framework of this black and white dots that Puccini left us.
Yeah. Interesting. Talking with Ozarks Lyric Opera, Sean Spires and guest conductor Foster Byers. And it's Puccini's La Bohème. And it's happening tonight at the Gilloys, the home of Ozarks Lyric Opera. And what's the show time again tonight?
7:30 p.m.
7:30 tonight, downtown Springfield. And then if you want the matinee action, it's happening on Sunday, November 23rd. And that's
2:30 p.m. I would also add that we do have valet parking on opening night.
Okay.
Doors open at 6:30, so yes, valet parking is available.
all the glitz and glam.
Oh, yeah.
That helps, parking, little things like that can go a long way. Because sometimes folks say, well, just trying to get downtown can be tough. Little things like that really make the night. And also date night, live it up, whatever you want to do. But it's Ozarks Lyric Opera with Puccini's La Bohème. Now, who do we have singing here? Do we have some guest vocalists here? How does that work? Do you bring in people every time when you do these productions, Sean?
We have some wonderful talent around here, but sometimes we want to hear some different voices, and sometimes maybe it requires a different type of voice from something that we don't have locally. And so we have a few visiting artists and new to OLO artists, and the first two would be our lead tenor, Rodolfo. His name is Peter Drackley, and he's from Chicago. Incredible tenor, just thrilling voice. I mean, legit high C's. It's just it'll blow you away. And then also we've got a visiting artist named Joylyn Rushing, and she's never done anything with us, but she's our Musetta, and she is fantastic. Madison King, who was with us she portrayed Donna Anna in Don Giovanni a few years ago, and Jonathan Stinson, who portrayed Leporello in the same production. He's back with us to do Marcello. So Madison King is Mimi. Jonathan Stinson is Marcello, and then the rest of the cast is kind of rounded up by locals: Shane Piles as Schonard, Sam Yu as Colline, and Todd Payne from Missouri State here doing the dual roles of Benoit and Alcindoro.
Excellent. You mentioned a large cast, so you rattle off several singers there, some visiting, some here in town. What is a large cast for an opera?
To me, I mean, 7 it would be on the larger end of things because a lot of them are on stage a lot, and they're just kind of interacting with each other like this. Again, the action never stops. It just keeps rolling along, and of course we do have a chorus of not only adults and young adults, but also a children's chorus in this one.
Oh, really?
Yes. There's a toy maker, and the children cry out. So I mean, it's in there, a children's chorus. So we have a lot of newcomers. I think probably 10 or 11 children that have never done opera before, and the delight in their eyes and in their parents just taking photos, it's palpable. It's incredible. They're just like never. I mean, it's a once in a lifetime experience.
You all are doing a buy one adult ticket, get one kid's ticket free on the matinee show?
On the Sunday matinee, yeah. We did this with The Little Prince. It went over very well, and it was just such a joy to see parents up there with their kids. And while this one, is a different type of opera than Little Prince, kids will love it. I mean, again, it's nonstop action. It's just beautiful, luxurious music. So it's really an opera for the whole family.
That's great, and a great way to open the door for youngsters to get in there and experience. So we applaud you for that. And when we're looking at the orchestra, Foster, how big are we going this time around?
Well, the pit in the Gilloys isn't too large, so we have to.
It's quite small.
Puccini actually wrote this for a normal-sized orchestra, but we can't fit that into that pit. So we're using a reduction, which uses 12 players.
Okay.
So, but fantastic musicians. I think all of them regularly play with Springfield Symphony.
Correct.
And we were just in the theater last night for the first rehearsal, and boy, it really sounds very full. Even though there are only 12 people, we were surprised even.
Yeah, excellent. So let's just talk briefly about your history musically. Where were you from? How did you first get inspired to get on this path of music?
Oh gosh. Well, great teachers. You know, I think that's how all of us musicians get inspired. And actually, I'm relatively new to town. I moved here with my wife, who's the orchestra director here at Missouri State.
Okay.
And we arrived here about a year and a half ago. And honestly, so thrilled to be involved with this company. I've always loved opera and got to do some opera in an academic setting before, but really, really thrilled to do, especially this opera, which is one of my top 5 favorite operas easily.
Excellent. And your primary instrument?
I'm a trumpet player.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. I'm talking with Sean Spires from Ozarks Lyric Opera and Foster Byers, who will be guesting as the conductor of the orchestra for the upcoming opera tonight. It's opening night for Puccini's La Bohème.
Well done.
Good enough?
Yeah.
Good. I'm working on my hillbilly Italian here. You can get tickets and information at the website.
www.ozarkslyricopera.com, or just call the Gilloys at 417-863-9491.
The show's tonight. They got valet parking. It's going to be all the glam and glitter that you want out of opera, 7:30 start time.
Correct.
And Sunday, hit the matinee at 2:30. It's down at the Gilloys as well. And don't forget about that buy one adult ticket, get a child's ticket for free on the matinee show. Spires and Byers, thanks for joining me today. And I hope you guys have a great show tonight and a great weekend.
Appreciate it.
Jimmy, thanks for your time. Thanks.
I'm Jimmy Ray. You're listening to Arts News here on KSMU. Welcome, friends. I'm Jimmy Ray. Welcome to Arts News here on KSMU. And today and tomorrow, an exciting event, Art of the Ozarks, over at the Expo Center. And here to talk more about it, the event organizer, Laura Inglesby. Welcome.
Hi, thank you.
So you're the owner and an artist over at Formed, an artist collective. Is that right?
Correct. Yeah, we've been open for almost 5 years now.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
So an artist collective, what exactly does that all entail?
So a little different than a co-op. A co-op is where you have to, there's a board, it's, a nonprofit organization, a collective. The way I look at it, everybody helps kind of chip in for the rent, and then we take a small commission to cover expenses. Yeah. And then after that, everybody's making their own money, but we do all the sales for them and everything. Yeah. So
creating a space for folks to be able to
Correct.
Kind of do their thing. Yeah. Strength in numbers, always.
Always. Yeah. We have 49 local artists in there.
Oh, wow.
So yeah.
Very
pretty
good.
Cool.
Excellent. So when we're talking about art, this event here, this is the third year that you all have done the Art of the Ozarks. Is that right?
That's correct.
How did this get going? How did this idea come to be?
Well, I had been talking with, local artists, because that's kind of what I do is, in touch with the local arts community. And we had all, kind of been wanting this indoor art fair, like a fine art fair that's near Christmas, where they could sell, their more expensive works, where they could try to reach a larger audience. And of course, November, great time for that. Yeah. But then, the weather is terrible. You never know what it's going to be. Currently it's beautiful, but you never know what the weather is going to be like. Yeah. So having an indoor event is something that is really important for a lot of artists. When you've got nice pieces, you don't want them to be damaged, Everybody wants to be warm.
Yeah, it's a big gamble
exactly.
to be out there. I do a lot of music stuff. It's a gamble too, wind, water, the sunlight. I mean, it's all factors.
All of it is a factor. Yeah. So, yeah.
All right, so this came about, and now you have, I read, 67 artists participating in this? That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah, our first year, we were at Mother's Brewing. We had 21 artists. Last year, because it grew a little bit, and we were trying to get into the Expo Center last year, kind of keep this downtown. Yeah. But we were out at the fairgrounds last year. We had 48 regional artists, and then this year was able to get into the expo center. And so, 67. I have a feeling next year will be even a little bit bigger.
Good, steady growth. It's excellent.
Yeah. It's awesome.
People love art here in the Ozarks.
Yes, they do.
I'm talking with Laura Inglesby, the organizer of Art of the Ozarks. It's happening at the Expo Center today from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. and tomorrow 9 p.m. to 5 p.m. And if folks wanted to know more about this particular event, where should they be going online if they wanted to hit a link real quick?
So they could go to artoftheozarks.com. You could also find us on our social media pages, either at Formed Gallery or at Art of the Ozarks on both Instagram and Facebook. We've got a food drive happening at the event as well for Ozarks Food Harvest. We were doing a 50-50 raffle.
Wow.
Where 50% of those proceeds will go to Ozarks Food Harvest. The other 50% goes to the winner of that raffle. In addition, a non-perishable food item gets them into drawings throughout the event where they could win gift certificates to College Station Theater or other art pieces, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So we're trying to give back to our community in addition to, helping support regional artists.
Yeah, I think it's a great way to do well for your community in tandem with creating and presenting and of course battling hunger here now more than ever, an excellent cause. So good work. And I wanted to talk a little bit about what folks might expect. You mentioned fine art. Is there specific types of media there, or is it a little bit of everything?
So it is the whole gamut of fine art, whether we're talking about like high-end artisans, maybe wood turners, people who create large pieces like that, to oil painters, acrylic painters, watercolor artists, jewelers, sculptors, pottery artists, fiber artists, the whole 9 yards. So I've got, one artist who creates their own clothes. I've got one person who uses upcycled items to create other fiber things. So, I mean, it's the whole gamut when it comes to fine art. So this isn't a craft fair. This is a little bit different. These are people who work year round to hone and perfect their craft.
Is there going to be folks actually creating while there?
So we've got a few artists that are going to be doing some live painting. We've also got some performers that will be there to perform throughout the event. The concession stands will be open. So there's food, there's, seating for people if they want to sit and enjoy somebody who's singing or whatever. Yeah. There's a photo booth.
Art of the Ozarks in its third year now at the Expo Center. Lots going on. Lots of artists there, over 60 artists participating of all sorts of artistic disciplines. So happening today at the Expo Center in downtown Springfield, November 21st and tomorrow the 22nd. Today's hours are 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. and tomorrow it will be open 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Art of the Ozarks organizer Laura Inglesby, appreciate you coming in. How did you start getting into art, creating art, and what drew you to it?
So I did art as a kid. Through high school, I went to the University of the Arts in Philadelphia, studied painting and sculpture there. And
so you're from out east then, or?
No, I was born in Springfield.
Okay, and
I
you went to Philly.
Went to Philly for school.
Nice.
And then I did not do anything with it for a really, really long time, and I picked art back up as a way to kind of relax. And I had a really stressful job with Marriott Hotels, and I was like, I need to do something to like kind of chill my brain when I have some downtime. Yeah. And I started getting back into it at that time, and just kind of went from there. I'm a late bloomer when it comes to using my skills and my talents, I guess.
Owner and artist at Form, an artist collective, and also the organizer of Arts of the Ozarks, Laura Inglesby. We appreciate your efforts of keeping arts alive here in the community and giving folks a space to experience it, to create art, and to be a part of it all.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
You bet. I'm Jimmy Ray, and you're listening to Arts News here on KSMU. Support for Arts News is provided by the Moxie Cinema, currently presenting Jay Kelly, Mistress Dispeller, Nuremberg, and Branded to Kill. Showtimes and ticket information at moxiecinema.com. Friends, this is another call for any young poets out there who'd like their poetry or their favorite poem to be recited by them here on Arts News. You can reach out to me via email jray@missourastate.edu. That's JREA@missourastate.edu, and we can figure out how to make that happen. On this week's episode of Arts News, we have young poet Evelyn Harper Beaupre reading her original poem, I Am Me.
The glory of nature so strong and beautiful. I look up into your skies. I see my own eyes reflected up in the cosmos above. I am me. I see who I truly am, and I look down from the shining eyes on myself. I see who I truly become, who I really wanted to be. I became the better version of me. I see myself through the eyes of nature, something as beautiful and big as the trees. Something as great as the sky, something as bright as the sun. I am me. I see the wind and sky as a piece of me. I see the whole world as a piece of me. I am me, and that's what makes me. I see myself and everyone in this world through nature's eyes, and I see that it's beautifuler and better than anything I've seen before. But I've seen all this through my own eyes. Now that I'm seeing it through another perspective, I can see that I'm different. But I accept that because I am me. When I see the life of everyone on earth through nature's eyes, I see what a strong, beautiful planet Earth has become since the beginning. I know we've all had hard times, but sometimes we can just look up to the bright skies that are before us.
Thank you, Evelyn. That was the poem entitled I Am Me, an original poem by Evelyn Harper Beaupre, and part of a call for young poets out there to recite their favorite poem or a poem they have read or a poem they have written, and we can get it on the air here on Arts News to share it with the KSMU and NPR audience. You can do that by reaching out to me via email, jray@missourastate.edu. That's JREA@missourastate.edu. Any young poets out there, I look forward to hearing from you and or your parents or legal guardian. I'm Jimmy Ray. You're listening to Arts News here on KSMU. Welcome, friends. I'm Jimmy Ray. Welcome to Arts News here on KSMU. And a special guest, an author, Cullen Bunn, a Springfield-based author and also a Missouri State alum, and a New York Times best-selling author who has a new horror novel out called Bones of Our Stars, Blood of Our World. Cullen, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
Yeah, so I looked here in dozens of comic books and novels over the years. How on earth do you get into writing and really... You know, some folks like to write and have a good time with it, but you're actually printing stuff, getting it out there. I mean, that's not something that happens every day. How do you get into it?
Well, you know, it was growing up, I always wanted to tell stories. I just had that was something I liked to do.
Yeah.
And even in like 5th and 6th grade, I had an old typewriter and I was writing really bad novels and really bad comic book scripts, and I was drawing my own comics and passing them out to friends.
Well, it all starts with bad, doesn't it? I mean, you got to learn and you got to...
Right, yeah. It has to be bad at the beginning. So I just always wanted to tell stories. I didn't care what medium I was telling stories in. I started out with prose because I knew how to submit short stories to magazines. That was the easy thing to do. I knew how to do that. I didn't know how to break into, say, comic books, even though I always loved comics. When I went to college, I pursued a degree in creative writing because that's the only thing I really enjoyed doing. After that, it still took me a while to break in. I was getting published short stories here and there and articles and things like that, but it took me a little while longer to break in. And when I did break in a way, when I say break in, I mean professionally. I was actually making money.
Sure.
it was in comic books. Professionally, comics for 20-plus years now. But I've always had that itch to return to doing more prose again. So
Yeah. So on a comic book level, let's focus on that. So just writing, or are you illustrating as well?
just writing. I was a pretty good artist as a kid, but I just stopped pursuing it. And it's interesting because I work with so many very talented artists, and they'll show me, they'll say, well, this is what my art looked like when I was, 14 years old. And I was probably better than they were.
Yeah.
But I stopped pursuing it, so I never progressed past 13 or 14.
Focused on the writing. Yeah.
I focused on writing.
So how does that work on a comic book? Do you have collaborators that you go to every time, or does a publisher help, or how does that work?
Well, it depends. Over the years, I've done a lot of books for, say, Marvel and DC, all the publishers that, the big publishers that you hear about from the movies. And with them, they usually, you might have a little bit of a choice, but for the most part, they are finding the artist for you. They've got an artist they want to work with on the project. And then I do a lot of creator-owned projects that are my own books with smaller publishers or independent publishers. And I have a lot more say on who the artist is there. Sometimes still, I'm pitching a book to a publisher. They come back and say, how about these 4 artists? What do you think? And then other times, I've got artists that I've worked with again and again that will pitch books together.
Yeah. Is this process when you start working with partners and larger franchises like, Marvel, it's huge, it's iconic. Is this the kind of thing, this is all you, or is there agents or partners that help you with legalities and all stuff like this, or is this something that you do, this is all you?
So I do have a literary agent, but for the most part, he focuses on helping me with the prose side of things. Now.
Right.
He's helped with some comic book, negotiating some contracts and things like that. But when it comes to actually meeting the editors, pitching to the editors, that's all been me over the years. So and that was a big learning curve for me too, because networking was not my cup of tea. But getting into comics in that way, in a way that's going to make money, requires a lot of networking, a lot of banging your head on doors, and a lot of getting kicked in the shin.
Yeah. I'm in the music industry. I came from that 20 years in, and I dabble in it now. But a lot of pounding on doors, a lot of scratching and clawing away. But that's what it takes.
Yeah.
Can't give up, because in art, when you try to become a professional, there's a lot of rejection out there.
Yes.
You have to just sweep it to the side and keep going.
You do. I think at the end of the day, I think I'm a pretty good writer, but I'm real stubborn, and that's what makes the difference.
Oh man, I'm talking with Cullen Bunn, Springfield-based author and New York Times bestseller, with lots of work out there, including his brand new horror novel, Bones of Our Stars, Blood of Our World. It's out there anywhere that has books. It was released on Gallery Books and Simon & Schuster. The novel here that you've worked on, it's a horror novel. Is this your desired genre here?
Yeah, I tend, I like all kinds of stories, but I do tend to gravitate back towards horror books.
Is that something that's always been there as a kid? You always like scary movies, stuff like that?
I guess I
scary
did.
books?
I don't. When I think back, I was like, man, I feel like I was a real scared kid. But I also loved ghost stories. I loved, thinking that there were creatures out in the dark. It terrified me, but I was always into it.
Yeah.
If you would have asked me when I was a kid, are you a horror guy? I'd have been, no. I like fantasy and science fiction.
Sure.
But I was real. And when I think back, oh yeah, I really was sort of a horror guy all the time. Somewhere around high school, it really cemented for me that that's what I was into.
Yeah. When it comes to this novel in particular, what's the brief synopsis without any spoilers? What can folks kind of, if they want to claw into it here?
Well, it's one of those books that's difficult to pitch without spoiling, but it's set in a small town, North Carolina coastal town, and there is a killer on the loose. Someone is butchering citizens, harvesting their organs,
Oh, Lord.
and we don't know who it is. We're trying to the characters are trying to solve the mystery of who it is. And then somewhere along the way, about 2/3 of the way through, the book's going to take a major turn. The book you think you've been reading, it becomes something completely different.
Interesting. Cullen Bunn here, author, Springfield-based author. And he's talking about his new horror novel that's just recently out last week, Bones of Our Stars, Blood of Our World. How long does it take to make a novel like this? I mean, is this a copy of it right here, or is
Yes.
this what you're reading? That's pretty thick. I mean, how long something like that take?
It took a while. It took several months of pretty dedicated, focus to write the book. I'm pretty fast.
Yeah.
I've always been a fast writer. It took a few months, and then the thing that I found that really kind of expanded that time was once it was done, I started overthinking it. So I wrote a draft, and then I rewrote that draft, and then my editor gave me notes. The notes weren't severe, but every little note I took it and I said, oh, he doesn't like this sentence. He must not like that chapter. I got to change that entire chapter or expand it or add 6 characters. So I found myself I had to rein that in a little bit because I was just going off the rails, expanding it.
Is that something that happens a lot when you're writing? Revisions?
Revisions are just part of writing. In the comic book world, it's a little quicker because usually you're working on a much tighter time frame that you turn it in and it's got to get moving. You might get a round of notes, but it's got to move so that an artist can take it and start drawing it. The revisions on this were maybe a little more intense than comic books. And part of that's me because, I'm writing comics. If I mess something up, if I've written a scene that I don't think is great, I know that the artist is going to draw it in such a way that saves the day.
Right.
But with a novel, it's all on me. So there's a little bit of stress with that side of things.
You mentioned in your note to me that you've done some novels in the past. How many things have you done? Is this the largest project you've done so far?
Novel-wise, this is definitely the biggest one I've written. I wrote a Middle Ages horror novel, but it was nowhere near the length of this for a small press company a few years back called Crooked Hills. And I've written tons of short stories.
Yeah.
And tons of novels that I started and then fell off and they sit in a drawer somewhere.
Yeah.
But this is the first big one that has been completed.
Yeah. Do you ever go back to those partials and say, okay, let me dig through this? I mean, I do that all the time with songs. I get a verse and a chorus going, and then I can't think of nothing else, and it sits. And
oh, absolutely. I have filing cabinets and files on the computer, and it's all, to me, that's all soil. It's all fodder. It's all something I can dig from. And there have been plenty of times where I've started a novel, didn't like where it was going, and that novel in a few years becomes a new comic book series or something like that.
Pluck a character or an idea.
Take pieces. So all of that stuff, the failed stuff as much as the successful stuff, is useful because I can grab. I'm always harvesting stuff. And just like you said with a song, sometimes you just need to, get the wheels turning, and maybe I just look through that old stuff. But I have files. I still have physical copies of the short stories when I was in college, and that was a long time ago, that my professors would give notes back on. So I still have those in a filing cabinet somewhere.
Nice. Talking with Cullen Bunn, New York Times bestselling author who's got a new book. It's a horror novel. It's called Bones of Our Stars, Blood of Our World. It's available anywhere that you like to get your books. Do you have a particular website or socials that folks can visit to learn more about you and your writing?
Yeah, my website's just my name, cullenbunn.com, and I'm across social media. It's at Cullen Bunn at whatever. There's certain social media things. I have more of a presence on, say, Instagram than others. I have a newsletter that I put out every week that is full of, hints of what I'm working on and thoughts on the genre and thoughts on writing and publishing. And that you can get to all of that, though, from my website.
Excellent. And that's Bunn with 2 N's for everybody out there wondering. Curious, is this a daily endeavor for you? Is this wake up and you write? This is your job?
Yeah, I get up real early every morning, 5 or 5:30, and I work until about 5 every day. And obviously, if I'm going to a convention or something, that might change my schedule. But for the most part, I'm pretty much, I go down. The commute's nice. I go downstairs to my studio and I start working. But yeah, it's a day-to-day. It's a daily job for me. I have some flexibility that I didn't have when I was working, say, in marketing and things like that before I started writing full time.
Wow.
But it's still, I treat it like a day-to-day job.
You have to, man. You have to take it seriously. Yeah. And folks who want to be artists out there that are listening, I think that's something they need to take to heart, that if you really want to do it, it's not just dabbling around.
It's not. Yeah, it takes a lot of focus and commitment to make it happen.
What's next on the docket? You trying another novel, you think? Or
Yes, I've got another novel in the works now. I'm always working on several comic books, so I have several new comic book series that are starting up. I've got a new one out right now called Deluge, which is sort of a survival horror story set in a women's prison that's flooding, and it's coming out right now from Ignition Press, and then I'm doing several more comic books with Ignition Press over the next couple of years.
Excellent. Springfield-based author Cullen Bunn, and his new novel is out, Bones of Our Stars, Blood of Our World. Check it out anywhere that you buy your books. Cullen, appreciate you coming on and appreciate the inspiration of a Springfield artist and all that you're doing.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, man.
Mm-hmm. I'm Jimmy Ray. You're listening to Arts News here on KSMU. Welcome. I'm Jimmy Ray. Welcome to Arts News here on KSMU. And coming up tomorrow, a very special concert. The Messiah Project presents the fall performance, A Holiday Prelude. And this is featuring music from Thanksgiving, Hanukkah, and Christmas. A couple special guests with me today from the Messiah Project, Lindsay Roberson, and the choral director for this program, Dr. Heather Nelson. Welcome, friends.
Thanks for having us.
Last time we had you in, it was kind of a search for the choir. How'd that go? Did we fill it up?
Well, it really worked well. Thank you very much. Yeah. We have probably one of the strongest choirs we've had in some time.
Oh, wow.
And there are over 50, maybe 60 singers. I lost count, sorry.
Wow. That is good.
And they're really quite good. Heather and I were just talking about, wow, this is really a great group of singers and just a great group of people. They're a lot of fun.
That's fun. Heather, what kind of folks are in the choir? Is this just anybody, everybody, different backgrounds?
It's a little bit of a what I call a y'all come choir.
Where, I like that.
We don't have auditions or anything, so it's people who love to sing.
Yeah.
I think one of the interesting things about this group in particular is we have a pretty wide variety of ages. We've got everybody from retirees and people just kind of living their best years, and all the way down to, I think our youngest is a senior in high school.
Wow.
And so quite a wide variety of ages, and they seem to be working together really, really well.
Yeah. Well, that's part of the magic of community choirs. Anybody can come in and join in, and the power of music, it really shows you it doesn't really matter where you come from, what your background is, age, occupation, social status. If you sing, you're welcome.
It's true.
Yes, it's been a great experience, and it's such a wonderful way to welcome the holidays. We got Thanksgiving coming up, and Hanukkah, and of course Christmas, and singing the music, it really has got me in the mood already. Yeah. So I really encourage the people to come out with all the stuff that goes on in the world today. You need a time to rejoice and celebrate the great traditions that we celebrate in this nation.
Absolutely. It's a holiday prelude. The Messiah Project is bringing a fall performance. It's happening tomorrow, November 22nd at Kingsway United Methodist Church. That's 2401 South Lone Pine in Springfield. The concert starts at 7, but beforehand, some music with organ and bells. Heather, tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, and so we will have an organist, Hayden Vaughn, who will be playing the organ, and he's going to throw in some traditional Christmas carols. And so this is going to be our carol sing portion. And so if you love to belt out carols, come early. And so sing along with the organ. And I know he loves to play the organ real loud, so come and sing real loud with us. And then there will be a bell choir that will do about 15 minutes towards the end of that portion. And so if you enjoy bell music, this is going to also be a really, really fun thing to experience.
So that's the handheld bells.
Correct, yes.
Interesting. So they have different pitches and the melodies are played with the bells.
Yep.
That's great.
Yep.
So I love this. It's a community choir concert, but if you're an audience member and show up early at 6 o'clock for this pre-concert music, you can get a chance to sing some of these traditional carols as well.
And then if you're really considering what to buy for Christmas, we will have a silent auction, and so there'll be some items available, and that helps sustain the ministry as well.
Very good. This is free and open to the public. Offerings will be received, and as well as the silent auction. Yeah, never too early to start the Christmas shopping. I started to hear a Christmas song or two popping in here or there on the radio, so I'm starting to get in the spirit as well. Cleaned out the garage and found some of the Christmas stuff. So this is a great way to kick off the holidays. It's a holiday prelude. The Messiah Project is bringing a fall performance, a community choir with conductor Dr. Heather Nelson, and there is also going to be a little chamber orchestra there. Dr. Larry Dismore is going to be conducting them. So when we say chamber, that's smaller, right, Heather?
Correct. So I think we'll have around 8 to 10 players.
Okay.
And so, yeah, Larry has put them together, and I get to wave my arms in front of them, for most of it, So I'm looking forward to having the orchestra along with the choir as well. It adds a really interesting element, both for the singers, because it's real fun to sing with an orchestra, but also for just filling that space with that string sound as well.
Yeah. Whenever we have for folks who are not that familiar with choir, you have a big ensemble here, 40, 50, 60 folks, like Lindsay said. How does that divide it up musically? Is it just, what's the terms? Is it baritone, sopranos? Give us the hierarchy or the sections of this.
Sure. Well, it's basically 4 parts, so soprano, alto, tenor, bass.
Okay.
The sopranos are generally divided into soprano 1s and 2s, and so the high voices tend to be the soprano 1s, and we only need like 2 or 3 of those because that sound carries very well. And then I call that like the cherry on top, and then we've got the whipped cream that's like the soprano 2s, and then like the altos that are the big caramely rich center, and then the baritones and the tenors and the basses that are our good cakey foundation.
Whenever they're standing up there, is it all of one section over here, all of one over there, or is it by lines, or how does it actually work for the best blend?
Oh, great question. And so I could get super nerdy about that, but I will restrain myself right now. For a community choir, it's usually best to keep the sections together, and so a clump of sopranos, a clump of altos, and so they can hear one another well. Sometimes in other ensembles, you may hear them all mixed up because that affects both how they hear each other and how the audience hears them. Because sometimes when they are differentiated in those kind of sectional clumps, I guess, you can hear those sounds or those sections pop out a little bit more. So it really depends on what the conductor kind of wants as far as the sound blend and what is going to be best for the singers. And then where they go, it's kind of, dealer's choice, I guess. I tend to keep the sopranos on my left side and the altos on my right side. And usually I can go back and forth between having the tenors and the basses in the middle, but like which one is in front of the other. It depends on who needs to be heard the most. So a lot of times I like the basses in the back, but if I really want that good bassy sound, I'll put them in the front so that they carry a little bit better.
Wow, okay.
And so I haven't decided yet. I won't decide until we get in the space, Friday night for our dress rehearsal, exactly where they're all going to go.
So you kind of let the venue dictate? Do you let the music dictate as well?
Sometimes, yes.
Wow.
Yeah. And so that's where I get to just kind of play with the sound a little bit, how, if you were, I know I'm pulling in a lot of metaphors today, but if each sound were a color, how do they play with each other?
Right.
And which color do I want to be highlighted as opposed to an accent color versus the main color, that kind of thing.
I love it. I love digging deeper like that. I saw the All District Honor Choir a few weeks back over at Evangel, and I do the recording for them, and it's always great to just kind of see the choir culture and to hear it year after year. So this is going to be a great chance for folks in the community to see some choir music along with a chamber orchestra and some pre-concert organ and bell music as well. It's a holiday prelude from the Messiah Project happening tomorrow night, November 22nd, over at Kingsway United Methodist Church, 2401 South Lone Pine. Get there early at 6 o'clock if you want to sing some carols with the organ or hear the bell music. 7 p.m. when the choir kicks off, there's going to be, it's free and open to the public with offerings to be received as well as a silent auction. And Lindsay, the Messiah Project's been doing their thing for a while. We've got to talk now for a couple of years. Why you keep doing it? Why you keep bringing the music to the people?
Well, music is the core of actually my life. I was on the Ozark Jubilee as a 6-year-old.
Wow.
So I've been singing a long time.
Excellent.
And music has a way of bypassing the intellect and going to the soul of man.
Yeah.
And some of the hardest people in the world have been changed because of music. And I make this quote, I pray it's correct, but C.S. Lewis said that he was that he received Christ through music, through art, that it bypassed his intellect and went to his soul.
Yeah.
Now that's a paraphrase, and somebody can critique me on that, but it's fairly accurate. But music does have a way of bypassing the troubles and the trials of the day and sets you free for a moment at least to rejoice, to remember, and to just have an encounter with, well, of course, for us, with their faith.
Yeah. Music can definitely elevate, no doubt about it, and rip away the troubles of the day. So I love that insight. Dr. Heather Nelson, conductor of the choir. Lindsay Roberson of the Messiah Project. This holiday prelude concert tomorrow night at Kingsway United Methodist Church. 7 o'clock, get there at 6 if you want the pre-concert music. Thank you all for putting this concert on, making it a part of the community, and coming on and telling our folks about it.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thanks, Jimmy.
You bet. I'm Jimmy Ray. You're listening to Arts News here on KSMU. That's all the time we have for Arts News, folks. Thanks for joining me this week and every week as we explore the arts world of the Ozarks. Hey, make sure to sign up for the Green Room. It's the brand new Arts newsletter. Head over to ksmu.org, hit the newsletter tab, and we'll see you next week here on Arts News.
It's Arts News, people and places, things to do. Arts News, here on KSMU. Hey, hey.